Poco X3 Pro, an ultra-fast phone that can compete with really expensive phones in terms of power. But is it a great phone overall? Is it worth it? Let's find out. Hello world, my name is cocomarTech and this is my review of the Poco X3 Pro. Welcome to an episode of
TT with cocomarTech.
Let's start with a quick unboxing. The box is this black and yellow box. Inside you have some Poco stickers, some paperwork, a SIM ejector tool, a clear silicone case, a 33 watts fast charger brick, a USB Type-C cable, a plastic screen protector that is already installed on the phone, and of course the phone. It's gonna be a weird and heartbreaking experience if the phone is not included in the box. Anyway, at the top of the phone, it has an IR blaster, a microphone, and a small speaker. At the right side, you have the volume rocker and the power button, which also acts as the fingerprint scanner. At the left side, it has a hybrid SIM card tray, so you can either put two SIM cards or a SIM card and a micro SD card up to 1 terabyte. At the bottom, it has a 3.5mm headphone jack port, the USB Type-C port, another microphone, and another stereo speaker. The plastic back has this weird rectangular shape with curved sides for the camera layout, which we will discuss later in the video. And the camera layout is also inside this circular design with small writings of 48 megapixel and designed by Poco. It's a flashy design with vertical stripes. Two stripes are matte finished and one is glossy. You also have this Poco branding with different colors, which I like, and the edges are also curved, so in spite it being a big and heavy phone since it weighs at 215 grams, it's really easy to hold even with one hand. Ergonomics is great, but the back is really a fingerprint magnet. It's also IP53 water and dust resistant. Still, I don't recommend submerging it when swimming. Color variants are forest blue, phantom black, this one, and the metal bronze. At the front, it has a Corning Gorilla Glass 6 protection. It's with a big 6.67-inch 120Hz 1080p IPS LCD screen display, 450 nits for the brightness, so it's still somewhat a bright phone, 20:9 aspect ratio, and a pixel density of 359 pixels per inch. You just have to remember that by default, the refresh rate is set at 60 Hz, so you need to set it manually in the settings to set it at 120 Hz to really enjoy the phone. I've been using it for a couple of days already, and watching movies and playing games are going to be nice experiences. Scrolling through the home screen and other apps is also amazing because of the fluid 120 Hz. Of course, not all apps and games support the 120 Hz high refresh rate, but still, browsing the net or social media is going to be fun. Okay, the screen is great, but what really makes it a pro is the power of this phone. If you're going to compare this phone to the last version, which is the Poco X3 NFC, basically the difference is just the speed and the update of Corning Gorilla Glass 5 to Glass 6. But really, this is a very fast phone. 7nm Qualcomm Snapdragon 860 for the processor and Adreno 640 for the GPU. It's the first phone to have the Snapdragon 860 chipset, which is actually an overclocked version of the flagship processor, the Snapdragon 855. So you're actually getting flagship speed at an affordable price. You also have a base internal storage of 128GB and 6GB of RAM. It's really a fast phone and you can really feel through the opening of apps how responsive it is. Plus, again, the 120Hz high refresh rate. You can actually even argue that it's a better buy than the more expensive Poco F3. In terms of gaming, obviously the phone can handle a lot of games. Ultra high settings with no lags and frame drops for Mobile Legends with 60 frames per second. No problems at all even with 5v5 clashes. Same with Wild Rift, high settings with no lags and frame drops. The phone just can handle all these usual games that we play. Even Asphalt 9, a very high graphic intensive game which can be played very smoothly. Call of Duty also, no lags and no frame drops with high settings. And of course, Genshin Impact, this game is actually where I can really see where the GPU can do. And you can play this game with medium settings with no overheating or lagging. Some other mid-range phones can even play smoothly with medium settings for Genshin Impact. But this relatively affordable Poco X3 Pro can. It's a testament that other manufacturers should keep up with Xiaomi in terms of how fast their entry-level smartphones should be. Now let's talk about the benchmarks. I'm going to show you two results. One is the Poco X3 Pro and one is the Samsung Galaxy A72 5G, which costs 23,990 pesos. Which do you think here are the results of the X3 Pro? That's right, the higher scores came from the Poco X3 Pro. Good job! Come on, Bamanos, and let's talk about the speakers. Well, you also have a speaker grill at the upper bezel of the phone. They're good loudspeakers but not really mind-blowing at all. Anyway, here is a sample test. Next, let's talk about the battery. The Poco X3 Pro has a 5160 mAh battery. You last a day with this phone. It's with a great battery performance. Even if you set it to 60 Hz, you'll still get around the same battery life with 120 Hz. If you really play a lot of games, then of course you should expect to charge at the end of the day. Overall, I'm satisfied with the battery life. Charging speed with 30 watts fast charging, I get around 52% in 30 minutes, and from 0 to 100 is around 65 minutes, which is still fast. For the software, the Poco X3 Pro is running MIUI 12 on top of Android 11. The Poco launcher for this phone is slightly different for the icons and aesthetics, but you can easily change this as the phone is super customizable. The phone really looks messy at the start as a lot of apps are present in the home screen. You also have an app drawer where you can't disable it. You can also change the notification shade to split into two, like what the iOS is doing right now. Other features are same with other MIUI experiences, the task switcher, the themes, and the dark mode. Oh, and aside from the fingerprint scanner that I mentioned at the start of the video, which is fast and reliable, you also have a 2D face scan unlock, but of course, again, not a secured way to open your phone. Lastly, let's talk about the cameras. The Poco X3 Pro has a 20 megapixel f2.2 selfie camera, 4 rear lenses, a 48 megapixel f1.8 main wide lens, an 8 megapixel f2.2 119 degree ultra wide lens, a 2 megapixel f2.4 macro lens, and a 2 megapixel f2.4 depth sensor. Photos are good overall. Not mind-blowingly great, but good. Good dynamic range. There are more sharpenings applied on the photos. Color balance is spot on. The portrait mode actually does an amazing job for separating the subject from the background, and the blur looks natural. Skin tones are also great. No weird colors happening on my skin. Night mode also does a great job reducing the noises of the photos, but you still lose some details, which is okay for me. The ultra-wide lens also does a great job on maintaining details, and the Poco X3 Pro has lens distortion, so you have no weird stuff happening on the corners of the screen. Macro lens is just your typical 2 megapixel shots you see from other phones. Nothing great or special about that. The 4K mode of the camera is actually really good. Colors are accurate and it's not shaky when used handheld. The cameras overall are good enough for the price. For me, they're not bad but not mind-blowingly great again. So this is the selfie video test for the Poco X3 Pro, and can only take up to 1080p 30 frames per second. But you can still comment on how good the overall picture quality, video quality of the selfie camera, and the skin tone, have the dynamic range, the highlights, the saturation, the details. So comment down, what do you think of the selfie camera? This is a video test for the main lens of the Poco X3 Pro, 4K 30 frames per second. so we can't really switch to the ultra wide lens when taking a photo, taking a video. So if you want to take an ultra wide lens, you have to stop the video and take the ultra wide lens. So we're gonna do that right now. Okay, so we're standing at the same point of the previous video. So this is the ultra wide lens. So we can comment down below how wide the field of view and of course the overall video quality for the main lens and the ultra wide lens for taking videos. So this is going to be the quality if you're going to use the ultra wide lens for vlogging like this one, but I think I'm against the light. So here it's a better situation. So if you're going to vlog and use the ultra wide lens, this is going to be the quality. Comment down, what do you think of it? The Poco X3 Pro is priced at 12,990 pesos for the 6GB of RAM and 128GB variant, and 15,990 pesos for the 8GB RAM and 256GB internal storage. Well, it's not really a flagship killers that other tech YouTubers say, but for me, it's more of an upper mid-range killer. It's one of the best bang for your buck phones. It's ultra fast with good battery performance, decent cameras, fast charging, and flashy design. Should you upgrade from the Poco X3 NFC? I don't think so. But if you did upgrade, it's still not a bad move. Should you buy this over the Poco F3? If you need an AMOLED screen and 5G, then yes. If not, save your money and buy the Poco X3 Pro instead. That's it for this video. My name is cocomarTech. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Stay safe, guys. Bye-bye.